Hello, I'm Richard Devaney from the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. Welcome to a video series of interviews that I conducted with senior executives from many different industries. The series is called Strategic Insights, and the goal is to help you to understand what great CEOs are thinking about as the critical issues of today. SPX operates in a number of different industries. You focused in your talk today about power and energy and food and beverage. I'm curious as to that other segment of the hundreds of little ones that you seem to have in there that were listed as other, and they make up about a quarter of your business?
Yeah, not quite a quarter, about 14% right now. And we describe these as our industrial niche businesses, although some of them aren't really industrial. They're more technical, and they are small businesses. They serve pretty attractive niche markets where they enjoy an attractive market position. And while they're not particularly core to the flow strategy, they are attractive because of the success they've had in their respective industries, but also in terms of the operating profit and the cash they return to the business. They're pretty autonomous and run as pretty independent businesses, and they are not labor intensive from our perspective, but I think they're pretty valuable assets, and we value their contribution.
Tell us a little bit about the power and energy business. What's the theme to all the acquisitions that you've done there?
Well, when we look at the growth dynamics in power and energy around the world, we see that market as very attractive to us, broadly speaking. And so if you think about the need to create new power producing infrastructure in the developing markets, it's very significant. And the estimations around additional power capacity that will be required over the next 10, 15, 25, 35 years are very significant, are dynamics that I think support investment and participation in those markets. In the established markets of the United States and Europe, there is a very attractive replacement dynamic in those markets. And so in both of those regions, we have very aged infrastructure, and there will be a significant need to replace that infrastructure. In the immediate time, we're not seeing that replacement dynamic in parts of that industry play out because there's not a clear direction in terms of energy policy and energy choice. But we believe that will develop over time, and one of the attractive things about SPX is we describe ourselves as being energy agnostic. We serve all forms of energy production and all forms of power production. And so as that develops and as that takes direction, we think we're going to be in a very attractive place.
What makes you different from the other firms pursuing the same market?
I think what makes us different than other firms pursuing those same markets is our focus on technology and innovation and customer service, extending our customer relevance around the world. We view the world in all of our end markets as a competitive place with very real and dynamic competitors. And so for us to be successful each and every day, we have to be better than that. And so we challenge ourselves to do that. And so I think with the innovation focus that we've got in the company right now, with the understanding of our need to understand those market dynamics and what's happening out there, I think we're going to be positioned to be better than the other guys.
Tell us about your flow technology solutions, and how that's changed the focus and the competitive advantage of the company.
Well, our focus on our flow technology segment has changed the complexion of the company dramatically. While these serve very different end markets, food and beverage, power and energy, broad industrial markets, the common thread that goes through all of those is that all of these parts of our flow platform serve very high engineered applications and needs. And so these are products and services going into very attractive end markets, both in terms of the growth dynamic and in terms of the complexity, the solution that's required by the customers. And so as we focused our strategy in developing SPX around that platform, we think the future is actually very bright, and we think our opportunity to gain customer relevance in those markets is pretty significant.
Tell us about the divestitures that you've made over the last 8 years and what you did with all that cash.
Yeah, I think the divestitures that we've done over the last 8 years are certainly as important as the acquisitions that we've completed in terms of shaping the company in a strategic direction going forward. The businesses that we've sold were businesses that we were quite proud of. They were also attractive businesses and contributed very nicely to the success of the company. The challenge that we had with those businesses is that, you know, we thought that in our portfolio of businesses, they were difficult businesses to grow and difficult businesses to make more globally relevant. And so we saw the opportunity to sell these businesses with very attractive returns for the company and for our investors, and to redeploy the proceeds to position the company to be in a better place going forward as we move to expand our flow platform. And so as we sold those businesses, we took the proceeds and reduced the company's debt pretty significantly, and thereby reshaped the balance sheet and created a lot of flexibility for us to grow the business. We've been very active in terms of returning cash to shareholders through share repurchases, and we've taken a lot of the proceeds and reinvested in those businesses that we believe are strategic and important to us going forward.
What keeps you up at night? What's the worst nightmare that you can imagine, and are you prepared for it?
I think, like any CEO, what keeps you up at night mostly are the things that you can't control, but that can impact your business. And so, you know, there is a lot of uncertainty in the world, and the world has by no means fully recovered from the severe recession that we experienced in 2009. But parts of the world have really marched forward unabated. I think the opportunities that we've actually realized in the developing parts of the world have significantly contributed to our growth. I think you know, the other thing I think that keeps you awake is the desire to not miss opportunity, right, and to execute on that opportunity when it's in front of you. And so, as we've transformed the company, we've created complexity along the way in terms of integrating acquisitions and managing dispositions. And so there's a lot going on at once. And so we're sort of changing the company on multiple dimensions, and it's a lot of challenge for people. But I think we've done pretty well, and I think we've mastered the art of growth through acquisition as well as any company has.
I asked you, what were the 3 biggest lessons about competitive strategy, not about leadership, but about competitive strategy that you've learned during your career? What would those be?
Well, I think in this job, you've learned to appreciate the quality of competition and to not take anything for granted. That's one. I think you also learn in this job to trust the resources you have and the people that you have running your businesses, to empower them and to trust them to make the right decisions, and to be prepared to make change if that doesn't play out. I think the third thing is that you learn over time that you have to manage the pace of opportunity, and sometimes it's easy to see the field and to know where you want to be, but to pace yourself in terms of getting there, and to have a realistic appetite for how quickly and how smoothly those things can actually be done.